Water and paranormal events and experiences. It is important to understand that water in this reality holds the key to consciousness. It holds the key to memory, and it is the primary substance in the physical. Without water, nothing happens. Nothing is experienced, and nothing is real. The science on water is well advanced. They make a few points not so clear, but some of it is of note. So if you look at the Russian research and Emoto's research, it shows the multifaceted ability of water to contain memory. It's multidimensional and it is extremely advanced, and it is based on that ability that the human being functions as a memory device, and it is on that ability and the resonant ability that is in water that homeopathy is based. Now, for ghosts and apparitions and so on, there's also an interesting thing. There are far more, shall we say, happening, able to be experienced when there is a strong water source, and especially a strong underground water source or current. Remember, in its natural state, water is not only flowing, it's also moving in various types of relationships, which in itself create a form of magnetic force, which is the essence that holds as water and air, or the currents of air, which has always got water, work together as what builds the atmosphere. It's what holds the power to life. It is in relationship with the sun and nature. It gives everything that the human requires to have experiences. Obviously, it is fascinating that water has three states, which is liquid, and then it is solid, and it is gaseous. It's the only substance with those three in one element. It is quite fascinating also that water has made it possible for the human to experience the so-called unconditionality idea. That will be changing extensively. It has been changing, because that has been stopped, and water as the primary giver of life in terms of experience, and especially your day-to-day experience, has taken responsibility for what it allowed of life to become, and therefore as this compress, there is going to be more and more events as water in a way get delusional, it gets mad. It is at that level where you are going to have your demonic possession, as it will go to every length to bring about a world that is best for all. And this will escalate exponentially. And within the time frames, as we have stated, we will have a new world. Interesting also when you are working with water to show where there's water underground, you cut a piece of wood in the shape of a Y, capital Y, and then hold it and it will turn in your hands. This is the result of water communicating with water, because that is how communication happens in essence. That's how information transfer happens. It doesn't happen physically. It happens at a level of magnetic forces, which is, you can say, the consciousness of water. The ability of water to be at two different places at once and to be a copy of each other, to receive the message. Now, if you're looking for water underground, and you as the vessel of water, you're mostly water, is holding this water showing device in your hands, you will find that some people can do it and some can't. The essence of this lies in your relationship with water, whether it is conscious, unconscious, or subconscious, and your understanding of the nature of water. If it's subconscious or unconscious, you either became aware of it through an experience or you're pre-programmed. Either way, it's pre-programmed. And therefore, you recognize water as water recognizes you as one and equal. That means you are, in essence, aware of the very nature of water, and you honor it at some, call it, undetectable level, call it a subspace level. But it's not really that. It is simply the very nature that makes it possible for water to become a medicine, the ultimate medicine, like cures like in homeopathy. One should really investigate, although it is not even understood by the homeopaths yet. In the structural resonance alignment training, you will eventually be able to change your water. That means the very memory of your water is what requires changing, because that's from where you are acting as your pre-programmed self. That's where the memories are kept. And then when you die, you're gone, but your memory continue as it returns to the physical, which is obviously the physical, but in most of it is water. And that keeps the very memory of you alive over time, and slowly but surely you disappear from consciousness, because nobody is left, nothing is left that can remember you. Or where people would, for instance, have experiences, points where it's been shared where a person would drink water and then remember a past life, for instance. It is because that was still within the memory of the water. And in the life, one may have been very close to nature, and there hasn't been much change or influence by humans. Humans are very, very destructive when it comes to the nature of the past, the nature of the present, and the nature of the future. The human is in such fear of death and want to control all the memories, all that is happening. That's why television and so on is in fact a memory control device. It keeps on controlling your memories, what you believe about yourself. Same with movies, same with information and knowledge. As you read it and you are training your memory device, you become that which then is part of the perceived consciousness, but it's not real. It is an illusion that is created, an illusion of power. Water demonstrates that quite well in things like storms, tornadoes, and tsunamis, and all kinds of points like that, that in essence, humanity have not reached any form of actual control. That is an illusion. It can be destroyed in very quickly by nature, by water itself. This is going to escalate, as we've said. This is part of what has been communicated as the resonances. There will be new understanding coming about water. Things never thought possible. Things never considered. And as such, the very, very essence of the ultimate individualization of life, the current science as it is understood by Emoto and others, do not facilitate this because they regard these things as impossible. You cannot regard that is impossible because you're just the observer. You're only observing your own faith. You're only observing your own belief. You're not in fact understanding what it is, what is implied by what is best for all. You are not in fact understanding the essence of divinity, the essence of equality, the essence of oneness and how it functions. That is now coming to pass. And your individual opinion about it is irrelevant. Because you are not one and equal to what is here, and therefore you have no say. You have only a say if you're one and equal to what is here. Because then the only say you will have is what is one and equal here. You are not imposing anything. You are simply what is here. And that is then what all become. There is a chance for each one if you dare to let go of ego. Ego is just memory. It is just a form of memory possession. It is like a form of addiction to mental masturbation. There is some sugar-like, sweet-like experiences that makes one feel you're more than something else. That is impossible. It is just an illusion. It's not real. You have enough evidence of this around you every single day and throughout the history of mankind. There has been no real transcendence ever. There has been no real knowledge ever. All of it just illusion. So, you're ready to take this on, and it'll take many years because patience is a virtue. One will get to understand in time, exactly what life is all about. Join us, Destiny Eye Process.